live.
We're live? No way.
You know some interesting facts about turtles. Oh, never mind. The show's starting.
They live to be 150 years old.
We know that you know interesting facts. YouTube
There we go.
There
Now
we
we're
go.
live.
It is.
Here we go. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast with your host, Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, Matt with Wacky Works Workshop, Jen with Jen's Turns, Jamie with JP Woodwork, and Jake with Northside Custom Crafts. Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast. This is episode 57. I'm Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, and today we have Robin with Welcome Home Customs. How you doing?
Woo.
Good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Great.
Doing good.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get it started, Robin. If you could just give us a little background and how you got started with all this laser beam stuff.
Laser stuff. So I actually used to work like corporate world and was dying slowly behind a desk. And my husband got us relocated across the country. And I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to pursue art instead. And so like in 2013, I pursued art, started pursuing art, doing art shows, doing more fine artwork. And I bought a laser cutter. I actually bought a Glowforge Pro, which, well, I'm not going to talk about that. I bought a Glowforge Pro, and because my idea was like, okay, well, I'm going to use it to be an extension of my artwork, you know, make cutting boards and coasters and whatnot. And I realized very quickly that it engraved extremely slow. So I wasn't going to actually make any profit off of this Glowforge. And at the time we were living in Washington and I was doing a lot of pen and ink work, and it was all very native to the Washington state area. So I was doing a lot of animal artwork and that sort of thing. I promise I'm getting to the point. We relocate to Ohio for my husband's work again. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and try something new because I'm not going to do that Washington art anymore. And so I have this laser and I'm like, you know, I know a lot of realtors. We've moved like 3 times in the last, I don't know how many years. And so I'm going to start selling to realtors. And so that's where the name Welcome Home Custom came from. And so before I could even start the business, like I went ahead and registered the name and got the LLC and did all of that. And I made some Christmas gifts for my family. And I shared it on one of the many laser sites at the time. And this was in late 2019. And someone asked me if I would sell my design, if I'd sell the file. And I was like dumbfounded. I'm like, what are you talking about? Sell the file? Like, how do I even sell the file? And so I listed my first file for sale January 7th of 2020. And within that first year, I had sold 25,000 files.
Crazy.
Wow.
Completely found a career in selling and designing digital artwork and files for other laser owners.
That's amazing.
Wow. It's crazy.
Amazing.
Nice. Just trying to wrap my brain around 25,000.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was insane. And so then, April of 2021, I opened the file club, my WHC file club for the first time. And so a lot of my business is actually merged over to my website now. I don't do near as much as I used to on Etsy. It's kind of like I leave Etsy open just to have that, I call it walk-in type business. You know, people just find me. And so now I'm up to, 1,000-ish members in my club and still sell on Etsy. It's bananas. It's crazy.
Bananas.
That's
Banana.
good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That
Yeah.
brings me to
Pretty
my
amazing.
first question. My name is Jake. For the people at home, I'm Jake Thompson from Northside Custom Crafts, and I used to do an icebreaker. My icebreaker for you is: do you always go on shows where you have stalkers?
Are stalkers?
Yeah.
Oh,
Jen.
yeah.
It's easy, Robin. If I invite somebody on, then I'm a stalker. But if they invite
Mhm.
somebody on, they're just getting a guess.
Exactly.
That's so you got it figured out.
Yeah.
You guys are so
To you
funny.
boys.
So this is the first time.
None of my members are stalkers.
She pays to stalk.
She pays the stock.
She's open though.
Anyway, there's my first question.
No, thank you. I'm gonna tell you what I used to tell my son. You be nice.
That's right.
No, it's Jake.
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 You guys are so
Wow.
funny.
Hello, everybody at home. I'm Jen with Jen's Turn, aka Not the Stalker. And
Jen, how long have you been a member?
July will be a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're waiting.
I am waiting. I am waiting.
So I was so mean and I didn't mean this to happen. So I typically only open the file club every 6 months because my files are more involved and more complex. And so it's easier to have a bigger group come in and kind of learn all together and ask the questions all together and get ramped up as a group. And so I released a bald eagle file in June. And then I opened the club to join in July. And I do this whole voting system. So the club members get to vote what's exclusive for 1 year versus 6 months. And that 1 year exclusive is exclusive to those members that are active at that time. So everyone that joined in July sees this bald eagle and they're like, we can't buy it? Like, we can't have it? Are you serious? I'm like,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of members that have been waiting to be able to buy. It's going to be releasing
Yeah.
June 1st. So
June 1st. And I can't tell you the number of comments and posts that have been in the group. Can we have it early? Come on, we're not having a file release this month. Can we have it early? Guys, if we harass her, do you think she'll do it early?
We should keep it longer.
How about no?
Yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, it's not fair to the other folks,
Yeah.
that were members at the time. So it will be released on June 1st.
Yeah.
They did break me on the dragon though. And I said I was never going to draw a dragon because I don't draw mythical or fantasy, or that's just not in my wheelhouse. And so I finally broke down. Like, they wore me down so much.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions, Robin, was did you finally do the dragon, which is sitting on the floor behind you for the
It
people
is.
that are on YouTube? It's absolutely amazing. I'm not a dragon fan. I was not Team Dragon, but I got to admit, I bought the dang file because I saw your piece and I'm like, that is amazing. It's beautiful.
No,
And I know,
no, you didn't.
I know there's a market for it out there because dragons are a big thing right now.
Well,
But-
I mean, Year of the Dragon, you've got House of Dragon, right? I mean, there's so many different things going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
did you
said, you know what,
do
if I'm going to do
just
it,
to
I
make
have to do
people
it this
be
year.
quiet?
Do what?
What's that?
Did you finally do the file just to make them be quiet?
Yes.
Like to stop harassing you about it?
Yes. I was like, I cannot hear this anymore. And so I know there's going to be something else. The
Yeah,
first
yeah.
the first one that people got really stuck on was the peacock. And
Oh.
everyone wanted me to draw a peacock. And that finally, happened. And then that became a 1 year exclusive. And now the dragon. So we'll see what the next one is. I'm sure there will be another one.
There's always something out there.
Yeah.
So
Well, everybody, I'm Matt with Wacky Works. Robin, I have to ask this is way, beyond me. We were talking backstage and we were talking about, classes. what kind of
Oh.
classes do you give, and what are you all teaching? Because you're talking about basic or intermediate. I'm like, let's spell the word first and let's
You
move
gotta
on
work
from
up to
there.
basic.
Exactly.
Well, so it's interesting because I never really thought of myself as a teacher. And getting into the file club, I kept hearing from the members, I've learned so much from you. I've learned so much from being in the club. I've learned so much from doing your files. I'm like, what are you learning? Like, but I mean, apparently folks are learning from just doing the process and that sort of thing. So I finally decided to write an Illustrator course that is designing for lasers, and I'm basically going to load it with all the tools that I personally use, and it's going to be project based instead of just, hey, here's how you do this and that. So you're going to learn a little. It's kind of like when your mom, when you were little, snuck all the vegetables into your food and you didn't know it. Like, that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm going to sneak in all of the education through making different projects. So I don't know when that's going to release yet because I'm still recording it, but that is what I'm currently doing. Then I also have a YouTube channel myself, but that's really geared more towards how to assemble my files. But I do a lot of walkthroughs of how the files are set up. And I think in a lot of ways, that's kind of eye-opening to some folks. Like, they just don't even think of files that way. Mm-hmm. And I think I kind of benefit from the fact that I'm not formally trained in Illustrator, but I am an artist. And so I figured out a lot of ways to do things that I don't think formally trained people really thought of when it came to lasers. So long story short, I'm using a course soon, but yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jamie from JP Woodwork. Welcome, Robin. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to start off with a pretty simple question to start off with. What kind of laser do you have, and what made you pick that one?
So, great question. So I actually have three.
Well,
I actually have four. I have 4 lasers.
4?
So I started with a Glowforge Pro because they're really good at marketing.
They are.
Really good at marketing.
How does you know?
FYI, those are all time-lapse videos, or not time-lapse videos. Those are all sped-up videos. They do not engrave that fast. So I got a Glowforge Pro first, and I had that. Let's see here. I got that in June of 2019, but I didn't really start using it until I had moved back to Ohio in late 2019, and then started designing the files, and then that quickly ramped up. So I needed something that was more powerful. So I went with a Mira 7 with Eon, and honestly, that was also kind of like, in a way, it was marketing. I mean, Emily and I, Mom with the Laser, we're pretty good friends and we chat all the time. And so I just jumped on board. But it turned out great. They're excellent lasers. And their customer service is top notch. I mean, they are, especially compared to Glowforge, just insane how fast they get things fixed and remedied if you do have an issue. And then in August of last year, got a Nova 14 because I want to go big. I wanted power and I wanted large. So I can feed a sheet of plywood through my laser now, which is pretty sweet. And it's
Nice.
130 watt. So I can cut stuff that's pretty dense and pretty thick. So with that, I also had to move all my stuff down to the garage because I was up on the 3rd floor of my house. And so I had to get some air filters, but the air filters hate MDF. I don't know if you guys have any air filters with what you guys do, but I filled up a $400 air filter in 8 hours.
Oh, no.
Good job.
Wow.
Consider this
No.
a challenge.
So
Yeah.
long story short, I've actually moved to either Baltic birch, or for my finished projects, I'm using hardwood now. And I've really gotten into like shaping the wood with the rotary tool and all that stuff. I'm having fun. So I have 3 lasers. I have a fiber laser too, but I haven't hooked it up.
All I heard was Tim the Toolman. More power.
Exactly.
What type of fiber laser do you have?
I got one of the ones from Eon, but I honestly I haven't hooked it up or anything. It was one of the free free fiber lasers. If you order one of their lasers at the time, there was a big promotion, and I'm really bad.
Haven't used it yet.
I haven't used it. I have ideas for it though. I actually used to do so one of my early art mediums that I was working with was copper. So I took a small metals jewelry class and learned how to work with metal. And I was doing a lot of, like torches and like all that fun stuff. And I learned how to etch copper. Any of you guys etch copper before? It's actually kind of cool. So you use a resist that you paint over the copper, and you put it into a ferric chloride bath, it's a chemical. It's like a salt based chemical, and it eats away anywhere there's no paint. So you create basically an engrave or an etch in the metal. And then I put a patina over it and sand it down. And so the patina or the liver of sulfur would settle into those cracks. And when you sand it, you reveal all of the copper, and that color reveals the image that you drew.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
It's kind of cool.
It
And
sounds
so
like a cool
I'm thinking to
process.
myself, can I use that fiber laser to recreate some of that work that I used to do, but not near as messy?
Yeah.
And like, can I incorporate some of those into like some of my pieces? Like, I don't know. This is my brain. My brain goes into these like crazy rabbit holes, and I just have all these ideas of things I want to try. So,
Well, you just got to hook that 5th laser up then.
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I gotta get
Am I on
that.
a
I
delay?
used to have a plasma cutter and I got rid of it. I don't know what I was thinking. I now want my plasma cutter back, but that's all right.
No, it sounds okay, Joey.
Well, I was gonna ask on these files that you sell, because I've been asked before to sell some stuff. What is there a licensing that you do? Or is it just a free for all to resell what you make off those files, or do you limit that to where they have to repurchase your files again? How does that work for you for the files that are on your website?
I mean, for me, I get that some people do the whole repurchase thing. That's really asking a lot. I just let people buy it and sell it. I just ask, don't send it to a factory and have it mass produced. My files are meant to help the small business owner stand out and make cool stuff, right? That's all I ask. So they do have a commercial license. It just can't be mass produced.
Got you.
There you go.
Cool.
You said that first year you did 25,000 sales for your files. Was that all off of Etsy?
It was. Yep.
And so we all try to do
Wow.
Etsy, not successful like that.
Try.
So is there any tips or tricks you can give us that maybe helped you get that kind of traction?
You know what? For me, I was lucky because we had all of these groups that allowed us to share laser files in the laser groups, right? And so, and I was back, I was starting out when we had the major COVID lockdown. So you have all these people at home, locked down, bored out of their minds, trying to figure out a side hustle. Right. And so I think it was kind of a perfect storm for me. But I would say SEO, I would say photos. Those two things are key. If your photos suck, you're not going to get any traction. And if your SEO isn't good, no one's going to find you. So, and then being able to share wherever you can. I mean, you still have to drive your own sales. Like, I didn't just list some files and hope it would happen. I was hustling in all the groups, sharing all of my ideas, like this quilt right here, which this is kind of what I'm known for, the geometric patterns. And I started making those back in 2020 on my Glowforge Pro. And so I came up with this idea of like, you know what? I want to be able to make big stuff on my little laser. And so how do I do that? And so I started, figuring out ways to divide up files and create this cut by color type of format. I just tried to think outside of the box and do things that people weren't doing at the time.
So as far as Etsy went, did you kind of figure out the pictures and the SEO as you went, or did you already have some kind of experience in that? Or
I had no clue what I was doing.
Just like us.
I love that answer.
I had no clue. I was like, let's just do it. Let's go. I'm not a timid person. So I'm kind of like, for me, like, I know there's a lot of people that are fearful of even turning on their laser. And I'm like the complete opposite. I'm like, let's burn it all down, let's just figure it out.
Nice.
And so that's
I almost did that the first time I tried mine. I came pretty
What's
close.
that?
I almost burnt mine down the first time I used it. Yeah.
I've probably had 3 or 4 fires, but I mean, I've always been there. I don't leave my laser unattended, and keep in mind, like, I'm testing my own files. So I've got to watch my files to make sure there's no issues. And so I've had 3 or 4 where I've like, I got to lift the lid real quick to just, help stop the laser and turn the air off. And that typically would help. Or I've had to like run and get a paper towel and throw a wet paper towel over the material, but nothing crazy. Like, I've not had anything to the point where I've had to have anything replaced.
I caught mine. It was chalk in the flame, but I was practicing on blowing out my birthday cake candles. It was pretty intense.
It's a camping thing.
I recently tried to cut some really thick plywood, and I didn't switch out my lens. I don't recommend doing that. That was a little scary. That was a little crispy.
Yeah, I had a close call with some acrylic last weekend, and I was like, oh my gosh. So,
you're cutting it with the laser. I mean, that's the thing, is like, people, you got to watch it, you can't just leave that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's crazy. So on the file club, Robin, most of us that are in it, we love that it's exclusive for a year. We get those files, except for those of us that are, just on the cusp of waiting for one. That's always they were not glad about the exclusivity. But how did you come up with that system? What drove you to think that an exclusive club was the way to go, and how'd you come up with the time frames?
Kind of like how I do everything.
Moment to moment.
I had no idea.
That sounds
rabbit
good.
hole. Like, hey, this sounds like a great idea. Actually, it used to be way more complex, and I was making like 5 file sets, and then everyone had to vote on the ones they wanted exclusive, and then they had to buy the ones that weren't. And it was like so intense, and I'm like, I am going to burn myself out. So I switched it over to voting for the 1-year exclusive, but I think it adds excitement and I think it's fun. And it also rewards. I wanted to reward the people that are members at that time. Like, I think that's important, to reward the people that are sticking it out with me and trust me and say, you know what? I will give you my money and I trust that you're going to make something cool. Like that's pretty awesome. And so I feel like it's kind of like, I don't know, it's fun.
It is fun. There are quite lively debates every month on which file is going to get chosen. And like last month, everybody switched their vote.
That was my fault. Whoops.
So
it's funny because people will come in and so I do a live file reveal every Friday, the first Friday of every month. And I'll talk about the different woods I used and we'll talk about how, I don't know, what do we talk about? I don't know. We'll go through all the different files. Like I'll have one file set could have like, I'm looking at my files over here, could have like 8 different variations within that file. So we'll walk through everything. It's usually about an hour. And then I put a poll out on Facebook and they have to all vote. And so everyone comes out onto Facebook and starts negotiating as to why something should be exclusive and why something should not be exclusive. It's kind of cool. It's pretty fun. So there's a lot of small business discussion, like this is going to really drive small business sales, or we need to really have this exclusive through Christmas so that no one else can have it, that sort of thing. Like they've come pretty strategic in the way that they vote. Right?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what it was. Was it?
Well, it's exclusive, or I would say.
Well, if we say it, they don't see it. No one sees it. It was the bear, and what was the other one?
The bear and the oh, my mind just went blank.
I know.
Did everybody choose the bear?
The ornaments.
Oh, really? Oh, you're right. Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, everyone that's watching. If you're not in the club.
I mean, we're here waiting for an explanation, and it's just like, oh yeah, those are good. And then,
Private conversation here.
So the showstopper was the bear, and most people were voting for that. And then the negotiations started, and people start their posts, and they're like, okay, my reasoning for this, and everyone's like, hear me out, and then they go on their little Facebook post as well, explaining the reasoning.
It was a full landslide.
Yeah,
on bear.
Yeah,
I mean, like
completely switched.
I mean, like probably like 300 votes on the bear, and everything else was like way behind. And I was like, just saying, guys, do you really want me to release these ornaments at Christmas? And everyone started changing their votes. It was
everyone's all revote.
It was fun.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's a good group of people too. Everyone's pretty upbeat. There's no nasty people in it, which I really like.
Good.
That's good. Yeah.
Nice.
So tell me about your first piece, and then tell me about what you've learned from, and I know there's a lot, but like some major key things that you've learned from there until now.
Oh, so that's my first piece. So that was the game I made for my mom for Christmas, and I shared in one of the groups and was asked if I could sell the file. And I mean, it's actually a pretty complex file considering that was my first one to ever list. So if I were to go back in time and tell my past self what I know now, I would say, number one, write the most thorough instructions that you can, because I am as much a teacher as I am a file designer. So I will put a file out. So like I've got a book valet where, like it's like a triangular stand, and you can put a book over it and can hold your book on your nightstand.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
I
awesome,
always
by the
make
way.
all of my files in like 20 some different slot sizes. So it's easy. You can just find the slot that fits best and just go with it. And you don't have to go and edit a bunch of slots. But there's always questions. I mean, there's, the file shrunk. Well, okay. Did you open it in Lightburn? Are you using an SVG? You need to change your file settings. Like there's just so many different things that if I had just put it in the instructions to begin with, not that everyone reads instructions, but if I put it in the instructions to begin with, all of those problems would have been resolved and answered. I now add like color codes. So I'll say, red is always cut, blue is always engraved, black is always score. Those sort of things. Like Glowforge World, it was like, you just pick a color and go for it. Like I wasn't that organized before. And so I'm even going back and fixing old files just so I can bring them up to date to my standards now. And so like the quilted pieces, I used to just do like color A, B, C, D, and then good luck. I hope you can figure out where it goes. And now it's every piece is numbered, and you actually cut the pieces upside down so that you can score the number on the back. So you don't have to write any numbers down. I include files with kerf adjustment and no kerf adjustment. So if you know your kerf, you can just apply your own. If you don't know how to do kerf, I can do it for you. I've gone to such a level of detail at this point that I don't know.
Anybody
I
should be
guess,
able to do the files with the
all of
amount
that,
of detail
right?
you put.
But I definitely train a lot. I mean, that's number one question I get from Etsy or anyone is, okay, this is what's going on. How do I fix it? Or, this, that, and the other. And it's typically a very easy fix. Like, for example, scoring is a Glowforge term. And so folks that have Lightburn, they're like, well, I have line or I have fill. What is score? And so then they try to use fill, and it'll say there's 1,000 shapes open. Well, that's because it's a score line. It isn't a closed shape. And so, very thorough instructions. I think that would be my number one thing.
All right. So my next one is I'm going to pick on Jen here as an example here. So sorry, Jen. As we know, Jen's started making custom tumblers. They're available from her Etsy if you want one. But in your case, she might make you wait a couple of months. Anyways, she obviously wouldn't want to buy a load of them cups to practice on. So cups aside, are you able to recommend any inexpensive substrates for laser beaming, and maybe whereabouts to get them from? Sorry.
You can't use mine.
Really?
That's what I
That
do.
sounds
Really?
like a mat noise.
I did that just for you.
Good.
Actually, that was totally not planned whatsoever.
We were
Was it
playing
my
that
ac-
later.
was
We
it
were
my
playing that
accident?
earlier. Yeah.
So I'm buying hardwood now, and I'm always embarrassed to say the name.
Uh-oh.
It is a funny name.
I had that problem last week.
It'll happen more and more the older you get.
Oak Hooch.
What? Say it again one more time.
No. Anyways, no.
Clear.
No.
This is an audio.
We didn't get it. What'd you say?
I said Oak Hooch.
A cooch. Okay.
Oh.
A cooch. All right.
Oh,
And are they out of Wisconsin? I can't remember. They're out there. And so I'm buying hardwoods from them. And they are planed down to different thicknesses. So 1/16, 1/8, 3/8, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. I mean, like so many different sizes. So I've been ordering from them. And then I used to use Smoky. Oh, nice. Awesome. I used to order from Smoky Hill all the time. Casey is a great friend of mine, but I can't cut his stuff anymore because it's got MDF core.
Mm.
But I still get his acrylic pattern ply, which if you're not aware of what that is, it's basically a printed acrylic. I believe it's UV printed acrylic.
I think so.
Really cool stuff.
Did they sell charcuterie boards?
What's that? Oh my goodness.
Jake, just,
And then
just-
you can also get material from Home Depot, Columbia Forest, but their quality is a little iffy at times. So I recommend if anyone uses
kind of
it,
like
it's
that
more-
Glowforge.
What's that?
Kind of like that Glowforge.
Yeah.
Kind of like that Glowforge.
The Glowforge material is pretty good that they use, but the actual Glowforge itself is. But Columbia Forest was the first material I found that my Glowforge could actually cut. So it is good for someone that has a lower powered laser. It's got a wood core, and it does cut like butter. The problem is sometimes it's got some voids. It still will cut through. But if you make like a 3D project, you can have gaps on the side and no one wants to see that.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I ran into that with that stuff.
Yeah.
A lot.
So the wood that you're using
Kinda
though is
irritating.
more like you're using maple. You're using
I'm using all of it.
all of it. Your walnut.
Yeah.
all that
So
stuff.
I'm going to grab the dragon.
Okay,
Mahogany.
we'll allow it. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you.
You're so gracious, man.
So if you look, like there's no stain. This is all wood grain. So that's paddock, and that is Purple Heart and maple and canary, and the brown is walnut, and then the cherry, there's mahogany, there's oak. So I mean I and cedar. The pink is cedar on the dragon. So I prefer to use all woods. I really don't enjoy painting. And so I'll paint with wood. And I think that's also why people like my files, is because they don't have to paint.
Yeah, I can't paint to save my life. So using the different woods, or like from Smoky Hill, the different patterns on the pieces, it gives you that pop without having, and dimension without having to do it yourself, you know.
Yeah. Well,
essentially.
I'm gonna grab one of these up here. So this is one of my easier files, but it can show like this is their acrylic pattern acrylic, and this is actually see-through. So light can shine through it.
Yeah. That's actually the pattern acrylic I used to make that file also. So that's fun.
Yeah, I think it's turned out really cool. And then I add score lines to make it look more like the actual creases in a balloon. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
So
I really like the fact that you've orientated the wood grain as well, so it actually flows with the piece. I noticed that on the dragon as well.
yeah, that's one thing that I didn't do originally. When I first started, I hadn't even really thought about that yet. But then I'm like, well, this looks weird. Like this doesn't look right. And so I hand nest every single file so that it does complement wood grain, or it complements the piece itself.
So do you kind of know what kind of wood that you're going to use before you even get into it, or is it just kind of a?
No, I mean, I've worked with woods so much now. It's kind of like I know my lights, my medium, and my dark colors, and then I also know, what is going to be more of a warm red tone versus more of a neutral tone, or what is going to give me the look of, let's say, running water versus a night sky. So there are certain woods that I'll always use for those types of things. Like hickory makes a really cool skyline because there's so much pretty variation and striations through the wood. And then I'm obsessed with canary right now. I don't know if you guys have ever used canary wood, but it is freaking dope.
Dope, bro.
And you never know what you're going to get with it. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you can order it. I don't get to see any of the wood that I'm ordering, right? And so I order it, and I recently just shared one in my group. I'm like, look at that. It's like, this is amazing. So, and I ended up using, I don't know where he went. Oh, he dragged one over there. I ended up using it for the sun, the moon, or whatever you want to call it for the dragon. So the answer is no, I don't always know. But I have ideas in mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do all your files I'm assuming you're listing everything, every piece of material or you recommend they use to get the same design? Do you give them the amounts they might need, or how does that work?
I do. Yeah. So I will actually,
Really?
and I still break it out in the size of a Glowforge, because I still make all of my files so that even if you have a Glowforge Basic, you can still cut my files. And so, for example, I'll say this file, you need cherry and you need 6 inches by 8 inches. And you'll need walnut, and maybe you'll need a full sheet. And then there's a walnut B, and you'll need, 2 by 4 inches or whatever. So I always list all of the materials you'll need in the project.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you're welcome to
pretty
change them
impressive.
out too. But if you want to make it exactly like she did in the sample, then she lists those materials so that you have somewhere to start. And then,
Mm-hmm.
you change it out as you want, or do it exactly like she did.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks that are very creative and will share in the club their different ideas and how they've used different woods. It's a lot of fun to see. People have used leather on some of the showstoppers rather than using wood. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of talented people.
Well, let's switch gears a little bit. I'm curious. What's your shop like? Can you give us, what else do you do? Do you enjoy or are you just strictly laser? Do you like messing with other stuff? Do you have a full-blown wood shop at the house?
I have a big old table saw.
A track saw
and
too.
I
I saw it on a video today.
What's that?
You have a track saw too. I saw it on a video I was watching
Yes,
today.
and I have a track saw, and I have a router, and that's about it. I think that's it.
Seem to have a sander, right? I'm assuming.
Oh, and I have a sander. I have a drill.
A screwdriver.
I got
I have a
tools.
screwdriver. I have a hammer.
And let's switch gears back to what we were talking about. So Jamie will like this one. Scroll saw. When people do scroll saw art and they shape the sides of everything, it's called.
Oh, I have that too. I have a rotary tool. Go ahead.
Ooh. So in the scroll saw world, that's called intarsia. When you shape in the wood out of each piece, is it still called intarsia in the laser beaming world? Took too long. Sorry.
No. No. I mean, the thing is, so I do shape all the pieces,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say it's inspired by, because I'm not using a scroll saw. And so I feel like to call it that isn't giving it's not fair to the people that are actually using the scroll saw for me to say that I'm doing the same type of work, right? And so I'll say it's inspired by or inspired by marquetry, but I don't say that it's that actual art form. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You feel like you're
Robin-
taking away from
Robin
them and you
Tarsha.
say that you're doing it? Or
What's that?
Robin Tarsha.
It's true. Those are words.
Intarsia just kind of means it comes from a scroll saw. Is that where it came
Well,
from?
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of funny about lasers and fine art, and it's like, how do you make? Where does the laser fit in? Because it is a tool that can mass produce, right? And so, where is that fine line of this is still fine art, or this is art, and this is something that I can produce as a product? And so that is something I kind of struggle with a little bit. Does that
call it
that,
laser tarja?
there you go.
Laser Tarsha.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a well-known fact that a lot of fine art, shows won't let lasers into the show, right? Because it's because it's considered a mass producing tool. And so that is kind of one thing that I have like on my to-do list. Like my goal is to be accepted into a fine art show with my laser work, because I do feel they are letting in digital artists as a category. And I would argue that lasers are no different. And if anything, I would say maybe it's even mixed media, because I'm creating it digitally, but then I am working with wood, and I am, picking out all my different woods, and I am sanding and rounding all my edges and creating, sculptural effects.
Right.
So we'll see. But that's my goal.
The dragon's proof.
Yeah.
The dragon, I say, fits that category. I don't see how they could deny you. I mean, it's nice piece of art.
It's hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. So that's my goal. That's my goal in life.
You just go,
That's
I
my
need to
goal
talk
right
to
now.
your manager.
Gotta join one of the boards.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
Change their ways from the inside.
That's true. So I am in the Columbus area. So my goal is to try to get accepted into the Columbus Art Festival, which is pretty big. It's like 100,000 attendance. Maybe it's more.
Wow.
It's probably more. Pretty big. So that is a goal. But I got to work on my own artwork. I personally would never try to sell finished goods of the files I made, because I don't want to compete with my own customers. And I probably would make really, really complex art if I were to start producing my own art again. And no one's going to want to take time to make what I'm going to make. I'm talking like 500 pieces or more. We'll see. Yeah.
Nice.
That's my brain. That's how I work. Like I don't have any examples in here, but like my pen and ink work was super detailed, crazy detailed.
Yeah. Amazing. So what, out of all your pieces that you've done, do you have a favorite?
No, not necessarily.
That's okay.
I will say that I like the dragon a lot because of the shaping. Like the shaping, I feel like I got to be a lot more artsy again, and I found kind of a new passion that reignited my excitement. And so I do love the dragon quite a bit. I don't know.
Is it still
That's
going to
a good
be a
question.
gift, or are you going to hijack it? Keep it for yourself.
What's that?
The dragon, is it still going to be a gift, or are you going to hijack it and keep
Don't
it?
try
For
to
Oh,
take
no.
away.
It's
Send
going
it
to be a
me.
gift to my brother.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to send it to my brother.
She calling me her brother now.
Good one.
You still got my address, right? Because
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
give it to you
Yeah.
again. I'll give it to you
Yeah,
again if you need
yeah,
it.
no problem.
So you said that you started doing this with your, wanted to do cutting boards and wanted a laser to be able to start. Where's all the cutting boards at? What's going on?
So I did one cutting board.
You did one.
Actually, I did two.
I'm done with that.
And I have this. It was a pen and ink drawing that I did. It's a bear, and I engraved it, and it took it 3.5 hours.
Oh my goodness.
She said, "I'm done with that."
And I said, "Well, I'm not going to make any profit, so I don't think this is a good idea." So no, I haven't done any more cutting boards.
Okay.
All
And I
right.
don't really enjoy engraving, to be honest with you. I like more of the cut pieces, or I'll do scoring. Like this is all scored. That's not actually engraved. I don't know if you guys can even see. Like there's the detail on that.
Ooh.
That's all
Oh,
scoring.
wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
That was a
for
lot
the
better up
people
close.
that are listening on the streaming, she's holding up a back Chinese checkers board with a bunch of floral design on
That's
Yeah.
it.
beautiful.
And
So,
Awesome.
yeah,
so when you mean scoring, you score and you go back in there with something to bring that image out like 3D. You're working those lines after the fact, after the laser.
No.
goes through there?
So scoring in a laser is basically you're still cutting, but you're going fast with a low power. So you just mark the wood instead of cutting it.
So it's
So
just
like
dark
Drawing on it.
Oh.
So right. So your
Yeah.
laser is basically drawing the image. Whereas when you engrave, the engrave goes left, right, left, right, left, right.
Right.
A scoring will follow the pattern, but just move quicker and be less power so it doesn't cut the wood. Now for these, and I'll tell you, because I have a glow forge, or because I learned on a glow forge, I figured out ways to create an engraved look, but scoring, because engraving took forever on a glow forge. And so a lot of times I'll do a slight offset so that your line score actually will have a second line right next to it. But because they're so close, it looks like a thick line, or it looks like a thick engrave. And so that's what I did with this. So like this right here, that's actually 2 lines in one, but they're so close together you can't tell.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So, what is the basic upkeep of a laser owner must do to ensure they're getting the best from their machine?
No,
Clean the filter.
you're asking the wrong person.
All right.
So
I've had one good question today.
That one wasn't it.
That wasn't it. So checking your water if you've got a water cooler, changing the water, cleaning your mirrors, cleaning the actual bed itself, because if you let that get too gunky, you can start a fire that way. Making sure it doesn't get too cold. If the tube freezes, oh, Lisa, hi Lisa. Sorry, I just saw Lisa comment. If the tube freezes, it can break, and then you've got to get a new tube. What am I missing?
When you need some
Lenses,
cross ventilation,
mirrors.
you need to prop your scroll saw up against the door to keep the wind blowing through.
Matt.
making
You just
sure
got all
that
the
your-
funny jokes today.
the
On
laser
fire.
is aligned and the mirrors are clean. Those are the
Yep.
big ones, and the
Yep.
the
Mhm.
water. So,
Yep.
All right. Joey saved me.
I'm gonna try, Jamie. It's hard, but she's a tough.
I'm
gal.
ready, Joey.
Tough. Give us a rundown of your process of designing. I know we talked backstage, but can you give us just a little rundown of from start to finish how you do it when you from just sketching to going to the laser?
Yeah. So so idea development is something totally different. And you could ask any of my moderators for my group, the agony I go through every single month. Like I go through these like highs and lows, like I'm so awesome. This is going to be great. And then I'm like, I totally suck. I hate all the files. I'm going to die. And then I do the reveal and I'm like,
That's
amazing again, and I'm like, I think, I hold myself kind of to a certain level and I'm always afraid I'm going to disappoint my group. And so I go through this crazy high and low, but I will draw on my iPad first, or I will sketch on piece of paper. So like I made this crazy shut the box game and I was trying to figure out like, how do I make the paddles? Do you guys know what shut the box is?
Saw the video.
It's got like the little things that you can shut down. Mm-hmm. Like, how do I make these paddles fit on here? And I don't have to add any hardware. Like I want to just make it all wood. And so there's some of that, engineering, trying to figure it out and doing test cuts. But if it's an organic drawing, I'll start on my iPad and draw. And then using Illustrator for iPad. So I am drawing in a vector format as a sketch or not sketch. I would say it's a good drawing, but if I were to try to put it in a laser, it'd be a hot mess. So then I send it over to my computer, which has also got Illustrator. And that's where I do all of my refining and my cleanup work. And then we go through and number everything and sort it all out, write the instructions. Then I cut everything, make sure that I didn't make any boo-boos, find a boo-boo, have to fix all the files, do it all over again. And then I will film the actual assembly and I have to edit all of those videos. And then it finally gets released.
And then
I don't know if that was what you were asking, but that's what you got.
Sleep? Do you ever sleep?
I sleep a lot. I don't nap, but I get a solid 9 hours a night.
Woo.
That's amazing.
I would die.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do there.
I know. It's bad. I actually wish I could go on like 5 hours of sleep, and I'm just not that person. I wish I could. Like, there's so much I want to get done. I'm like, nope, got to go bed.
We got time for a really, really quick speed round, if you're down for that. So
sure.
My question is going to be, I watched some of your YouTube videos today. Great job on voiceovers and stuff. Very good stuff. Do you plan on doing stuff other than your, you've been doing assembly videos and stuff? Or are you going to do any like instructionals on maybe light burn or maintenance on the machine or stuff like that?
Probably not maintenance on the machine. Only because for me, like, let the laser
how to use it, or
let the laser owner or the company do the maintenance on the machine, right? But yeah, I mean, I really should do some more tutorials on light burn and that sort of thing, and I just haven't. But see previous question of, do you ever sleep? It's like finding the time to do those tutorials is kind of hard. And so I've got to put my time and focus into what is important, and so unfortunately making some of those additional tutorials don't always get done. I have lots of ideas. I just haven't had the time. Yeah. I mean, I actually closed down the club for a month we are skipping the June 1st release. No one's getting charged. Everyone gets the month for free. They still get their discount. Just so I can write the Illustrator course, because I just can't fit it in with the amount of files that I make the club.
We understand.
Yeah.
We'll just say that.
It'll be worth the wait. So my speed round question, Robin, is: are you going to go to Next Level Laser Conference or any of the other conferences that are out there?
No.
How about you?
Not right now. I'm not. I am in a couple of summits that are coming up, online summits, where I will be doing some teaching and training, but I cannot announce those yet.
Nice. All right. We'll keep an eye out for those.
Right in your netting. So I know this guy. He's looking to maybe possibly buy a laser. He's, not a very good laser guy. Kind of stuffs way over his head. What kind of laser would you recommend?
I would ask first, what is your budget, and go from there.
$4.
Around
Because,
5.
that's really where it comes down to, is like, not every laser is the right one for someone. I mean, budget's number one. What can you afford? The new Redline series with Eon is insane. You can change out the tube in seconds. You don't have to align mirrors. It's crazy.
Jen just got taller.
And if I wasn't just designing files, I would be buying one. But I just design files and I have 3 lasers. I don't need to buy another one.
So, I mean, if you're in the 5,000 range,
Then you would have to probably go with the Omtech, right?
Okay.
Because to hit that price point, but it is a bigger laser, and you can get a higher wattage tube. The X Tool and the Glowforges of the world are fine, but it does have a little bit of a smaller tube, as I understand, right? Doesn't X Tool only go up to? They don't go up to 100 watt, do they?
No,
I
I
think
think
it's 50 watt.
I think they just
And
came
so
out with the 50.
for me, 50 watts fine, but if you can get a bigger tube, I would, because I find that a lot of the laser people in the world get very frustrated because they can't cut material, and it's because they've got a lower wattage.
Yeah. So there's a question: where do I go for the file club?
Oh, okay. So you can find, there is actually currently a wait list set up on my website. If you go to welcomehomecustom.com, there is a tab at the top that says WHC File Club. And if you click on that, it says join the wait list. I'm hoping to try to get everyone off the wait list for this next time that I open, which will be opening for, I'm going to probably open it the end of June for the July 1st release. And so, so that's where you go. So if you join the wait list, I'm going to try to get everyone off the wait list if I can. I do try to cap the membership because I don't want my files flooded everywhere, because then I feel like you're going to see the same thing with all the different makers. And so part of, being part of the file club is I do feel you need to have some sort of exclusivity. And so that's why not only do I cap, but then you get the files exclusive for a while. So.
Yeah, the link to your website is in the description below this video, and it's like right below the thumbs up button.
Dude, you took it away from me, Jake. I was fixing to say, JR, on your way down to her link down in the description of this video, hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. It'd be great.
There you go.
I was sitting here waiting. I did a Jake. I scooted up in my chair. I was fixing to hammer down on it.
Right, I'm gonna risk my third strike here with this question, but
Here we go.
here we go. Right, for anyone just getting into laser beaming, off the top of your head, what would you say are the biggest no-nos whilst using a laser?
No-nos.
No-nos. Well, choosing a laser. Well, buying it from a really good marketing company.
Woodworks.
I think the biggest no-no would be not doing your research. Go out to the groups, go out to the laser groups, research laser groups, see what they're saying. Know that if you ask, you will have negative comments and you'll have positive comments. But if the positive comments way outweigh the negative comments, you know that that's probably going to be a good bet. And then from there, I would say it's hard because some lasers are good for certain things versus other things. And so I'd love to say, have an idea in mind of what you're going to make, because that could change what kind of laser you get. That's not always the case. So get one that's well-rounded. Get one that can do a little bit of everything. I wouldn't go with the diode if you can, because you do limit yourself. You can't cut in certain things with a diode versus a CO2. But yeah, I would say do your research. Go out to the groups and see what people are actually saying. And don't just read reviews online. Actually go to the Facebook groups or wherever and see what people say.
There you go.
Because if you go now and you say, should I get this laser? You're gonna find out real quick if it's a good idea.
There you go.
Well, I was going to ask you when you're getting your next laser, but you kind of answered that when Matt asked you his question.
Yeah, I really should. You know what? I really shouldn't get another one. Actually, I'm in a 2-car garage.
Go ahead.
And I want more woodworking tools. So I'm trying to figure out how to fit more tools in my garage.
Scroll saw is pretty small.
Just go ahead and get another one. Put it in there.
Prop open doors.
I know.
They're on wheels.
Can we sell the kayak? Can we just hire a lawn service? Do we really need the tractor?
That's what a lean-to is for. You put a lean-to on the side, and that's where you're trying.
Yeah, I live in a really strict HOA, so I can't.
I
I'd build a building out back if I could, but nope, not allowed. I'm stuck here until my son graduates high school. I'm stuck, and then once that happens, I'm moving to a small house with a big shop.
Put them in summer school. Get extra credits. Graduate early.
I know. Yep.
Well, Robin, thank you for joining us, taking the time from not being able to go to sleep, but we're fixing to end this. And,
way past my nap time or my bedtime.
If you have anything coming up, here's your chance to tell our listeners what's coming up in Robin's world.
Well, so like I just mentioned, I will be opening the File Club finally. I know a lot of people have been asking. The last time I opened was in January. So go join the File Club waitlist if you're interested, or go check out my website if you're interested. And then I will be releasing my first installment of Designing for Lasers Illustrator Edition. So that will be coming out soon-ish. I am currently recording that now. And then I had mentioned I am going to be in a couple summits. And if you follow me on Facebook under Welcome Home Custom, or TikTok under Welcome Home Custom, or you can find me in a laser community by Welcome Home Custom, you will see the announcements about the summits that are coming up. And I'll be teaching Illustrator for lasers in those summits.
Nice. Jenny?
Awesome.
Nice. I have a pretty quiet week. I have a couple orders. One of them is one of Robin's files, so I got to get that done this weekend. And that's about it. It's pretty quiet this week.
I got my delivery, so I've got my CNC I just put together. So it was fun filming that. Just took twice as long, but I think it's going to be a good thing. There's a lot of differences between the Elite and the Pro Series. When I had the Pro Series, completely different. And then started filming for the Harbor Freight dust collector. Moved it to be just dedicated to the CNC, so I'm going to be filming that as well.
Go, Jamie Pie.
Just getting back out into the workshop now, recording videos and cartoons on Saturday.
Boom. Not Sunday.
Jamie said cartoons on Saturday. We're going to be giving away 4 silicone molds this weekend and having a bunch of fun and making cool stuff and all that kind of stuff. And Joey Gonzales.
I ain't got nothing. No. Still, yeah, really, I'm just being lazy. But no, anyhow, we've got some stuff coming in. We're going to be shooting some videos on a new laser. That's coming up next week on the show. We got Cody with Cadence Manufacturing of the Ginny Bits. He's going to be on the show next week joining us. Please remember to go give us a review on iTunes. And I want 10 stars. 10. And
10.
Real quick, I'd like to thank our Patreon members, Mr. Wooden Mustache, Miss Mama T. Thank y'all for supporting the show. Please, if you want to go check that out, go to patreon.com/Creative Makers Podcast. Check it out. Excuse me. Anyways,
don't get choked up, Joey.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
Next time, same time, same place. Shut up, Matt. Same time, same place. Next week. Thanks everybody in the chat. Thank you, Robin. And we are out.
Thank you.
You.
Thanks, Robin.
You.